I can remember coming home from school when Dr. Hoshizaki, the guy that caught it in the test, and finding out. I mean, it was like it's just me, my mom, dad, and sister. So it was kind of frantic in our house, and my sister was taking the bus home. So my parents left to go pick up my sister at the bus stop, and I was home by myself for all of 5 minutes. I mean, the bus stop is in our neighborhood, and I can just remember sitting down crying and going, "Oh my God, I'm gonna die." I'm a 16-year cancer survivor of Hodgkin's disease. I was 15 years old when I was diagnosed in January of 1993. And one of the things, or one of the side effects that came up in my treatment was fertility issues. Wasn't really anything I paid attention to at that time in my life. I was only 15, obviously, so I wasn't really thinking that far ahead. So it became a much bigger deal probably in my early 20s when I had a girlfriend, now my wife, thinking more seriously about what I wanted to do for a family and beyond. I mean, it was, something that happened to me when I was 15, but then it affected her pretty severely, and it was kind of, I want to say a test, but kind of one of those hurdles in a relationship that if you can accept that that's part of my life and roll with how that's going to go, because it was a big unknown at that point. Was I 19? I was 19 when I met her, 20 when I started dating her, and she was 21 and wanted, always had this dream of having a big family and kids and being a mom and being pregnant, and she again accepted it very, very well. So I never really thought I'll never be able to. I just never knew. So it was more the unknown that I thought about. The further along we got in our relationship, early on, afterwards maybe a little bit, but the more we started dating and getting serious and talking about what we wanted out of our lives, that became a much more pressing issue for me.
And you were worried telling me about the fertility issue. You thought that no one would want to marry you if you couldn't have kids.
Yeah.
I mean, that was a big issue for you.
Yeah. We knew going into it how hard it would be, but you're a pretty hopeful person, and so am I. I think we would joke that, it would work this time, and, every wouldn't work. And we're just kind of trying to think positively, but I think that was frustrating to watch Michelle, constantly take negative pregnancy tests and not get pregnant naturally.
That was probably definitely the most frustrating time when we were trying on our own for a year. And you have to go through that process for insurance reasons, but that was, every month when we'd find out that I wasn't pregnant. And like you said, so many negative pregnancy tests.
Yeah.
That was frustrating.
But the actual fertility process, I was frustrated more with the doctors, and kind of frustrated at myself for not asking more questions on the front end. Because we kind of got it. Once you're in it, you can't really stop.
Yeah.
I mean, you could, but then, it's emotional. I mean, there's so many things that go into it that you're in there, and you keep committing to the process and going through it to get it done. And
yeah.
I mean, we could have stopped, but I don't think either one of us wanted to stop.
Yeah.
ABCs, next time won't you sing it?
Good job. I guess I did feel some burden or some responsibility for our situation. Like, I felt like it was my fault that we were having to go through it. And, even though it wasn't my fault, I mean, I didn't choose to have cancer or get sick, or it's not like something I could have controlled. But yeah, I felt, personally responsible for putting us in that situation. And, watching Michelle get sick, and, this next go around, I mean, I worry about her getting sick again. And, I mean, it can get pretty serious. I mean, if it gets too out of control, it can result in, very serious side effects to even death, I think the newest doctor said. Because of me, that was happening to her. So I did feel some responsibility to that.
I'm not going to think. Yay! Good job!
There you go.
Don't tell me not.
Yeah, here.
Okay, they won't know that.
Don't
Well,
tell
there's
me.
a gosling.
Gosling?
Gosling, a baby geese.
I should know with going through what I went through, you have to ask as many questions as you want to ask of the doctor. But
I don't even think we knew what to ask.
but
Though, 'cause
yeah,
we
we
didn't
didn't.
know what to expect. We just wanted to get pregnant,
Yeah,
and they had told us 15 to 20 eggs was a good cycle, and that's what we were expecting. And then not all of them would be fertilized, so we weren't expecting to have that many. And then we still didn't even really think about it too much until after she was born, and you see those embryos can produce a life, and that we have 13 more sitting there that are just little lives suspended there.
but they didn't really address that, and I wish we would have spoke up more around those issues and
Yeah.
understood more of how this whole process would go.
Good throw. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
We just kept thinking that, you know, this medicine's here to help people like us, to give us opportunities to be parents and hopefully experience that calling, because being a parent, being a husband or a wife, that's a calling. It's not just something you do, and that's how we look at it every day, I think. When I was younger, when I ran, it was a lot of what I had been through, thinking about my feelings and, you know, where I was going with my life. My relationship with Michelle was early on, and kind of thinking about that. Now when I run, it's a lot about where I am in life as a husband, a father, a businessman, but also it's still very thankful that I can get up and run, and that I'm healthy enough, and, you know, God gave me a second chance at life, and I don't have long-term side effects. I'm not an amputee. I can get up and run and be on my own and, you know, have the physical strength to do it. So that's more of what I think about now. I don't think a lot about my side effects of the cancer now that I did when I was younger.